I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Nice
Good.
to see you.
Nice to see you too. Um, and sorry about the delay getting started. It seems like this is my third class in a row, and it seems like using Google Hangouts, like by the second or third class, it always kicks me off, or Google Chrome has to restart. So I don't know. So sorry about the delay, but here we are, and we will start right away. Um, Let's see. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right. Olga?
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Um,
Uh,
did I say
I'm
your name right?
yes, my name is Olga and I'm from Ukraine, and
Wonderful.
I'm very happy to have this class with you today.
Great. Great. Well, welcome. I'm very happy. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you, me too.
All right. Great. And Wellington, welcome back.
Yeah, today I am taking overdose of Stephanie.
Yeah, I was just going to say 3 hours. You're going to be sick of me by the end of
Yeah,
this.
today here in São Paulo is holiday.
Is it? So better to stay inside and study all day?
Yeah, the climate, the weather is not too good. It's a little some clouds in the skies, and so it's a little cold, but not too cold.
Okay.
But I need to study to improve my English, and so it's good to be here.
Well, good. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
And hello, Natasha.
Hello, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you for asking. How about you?
I'm great, thank you. You
It's
sound very
nice.
happy.
It's awful. Awesome,
That's
awesome, I'm sorry.
good, good. I'm glad that's infectious. It's good to be happy. Great. Well, glad you're here. And Rebecca, welcome back.
Sorry. Hi. Hello. How? Hi
Um,
again.
yes, hi again. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Great. And Erika, hello.
Hello, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good. And where are you from?
I'm from Brazil, and it's the first time that I take classes with you, and I hope to enjoy.
I thought you were new. So good. I hope you enjoy as well. All right. So that's everyone. We may have a few more joining us, but let's get started. This is speaking practice. Let me just, sorry, it's very dark. I want to improve the lights here. So this is speaking practice. The main idea of this class is to give you a chance to practice speaking in a way that's similar to many English speaking exams. So we will have one topic and we'll answer several different questions about the topic. And we'll use a timer just to kind of regulate the discussion and make sure everyone has equal turns. We'll use a 2-minute timer. So basically, you'll speak for 2 minutes in response to a question. You don't have to speak for 2 minutes, but after 2 minutes, I will stop you. So that is it. The questions will be very different, so you'll use different vocabulary, different grammar structures. And because this is a fluency class, I won't stop to correct you unless there is confusion or miscommunication, or of course if you have a question. So with that, let's get started. Our topic today is kind of it's a broad topic. All of our questions today will be about current affairs. Current affairs. So with that, let's get started. Our first question, What annoys you about news reporting in your country? So what annoys you or what bothers you? What gets on your nerves? What annoys you about news reporting in your country? Are there any questions on the vocabulary for this question? Probably pretty common. All right, so do I have a volunteer who wants to start?
Can I?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, 2 minutes? How long did
Yes, 2
did you
minutes.
say?
2 minutes starting now.
Okay. Well, the things that annoy me the most in this moment in my country are news related to the politicians. You know, the corruption in my country is always well, in nowadays is very frequently to get up and read in the newspaper one politic is going to a court because of another one is because of, you know, so that really annoys me and make me feel a person who doesn't believe in politics anymore, you know. So I don't trust in politicians, and well, I don't believe in the system right now. It doesn't matter which political party they belong, because right now, for my idea is all of them are exactly the same. So those news uh, are boring now because it's always the same. How long?
Great, that's great. So yeah, that was just about 2 minutes. And you don't have to speak for the whole 2 minutes.
I didn't count, so I don't know exactly how long I.
Don't worry about it. I've got the timer. So
Okay.
that was great. Yeah, so it's annoying to read about all the corrupt politicians. Yeah, I agree. Great. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for starting.
Thank you.
And let's go to the right this time. So, Natasha, what annoys you about news reporting?
Okay, it's a really difficult question for us because for me, for example, personality, because I only interested in political news in my country because it's really important for us, especially for our future generation. I mean that it really annoys me when we look at news on TV or reading our newspapers, and there other government says us that only they can increase the level of our life, only they can help us to have more income and so on. I mean that when we read these news, we can imagine that without these political groups, we can't be happy and we can't be welfare, and it is, I think that it's false because there are a lot of different political groups and different political leaders which can help us to be more happy, more healthy, and have more income. I really had read something news about the life of these potential leaders, which can be can be in the head of our government, and in the news about them are written that they maybe something stolen in their life, or they did something crime, and after that they go to prison, and it's very boring.
Great, great. And that sound was the timer. Great. So, nice work. You filled up the 2 minutes. And yeah, it sounds like the government has a lot of control over the news.
Yeah.
And
Our leadership can't obtain something true news about our country, about the government, and about political groups.
Oof. Yeah, that is definitely annoying. Maybe even worse than annoying. That's pretty bad. Great. Thank you for sharing. Great answer.
Thank you.
Wellington, how about you in your country? What annoys you about news reporting?
What annoys me is the superficial news. Because of the time, the news, we see news that tends to something. And behind this, all the time, or sometimes, they have a purpose, and in the majority of the time, it's not bring give a good news, and inform the people. Sometimes it's not clear, bring the news in a way that the public knows about the total situation. And sometimes after important news, sometimes important news have only 1 minute, and a superficial news or a full news have more time than that what is important. This annoy me a lot.
Great, excellent. Yeah. So it's almost like they're wasting time reporting on things that don't matter. While ignoring things that do.
And superficial things. Sometimes the news here or in other places, sometimes what is important is very superficial.
Yeah, definitely. I'd agree. I noticed that in the news here as well. Great. Thank you. Nice work. Olga, your turn. What annoys you about news reporting in Ukraine?
Okay, thank you very much. To be honest, I try to avoid listening to news because maybe you know about the difficult situation in our country. I don't like listening about war actions, about problems in economics. After listening to such news, I become anxious, and all news is mostly alarming, and I feel uncomfortable after watching TV, and I try to avoid such negative information. Of course, I can read about news online, but in any case, I don't see any positive moments at the moment in reading news and in watching news, unfortunately.
Good, yeah, so the negativity is annoying.
It's negative information, yes.
Yeah, great, excellent, nice answer. Thank you. We're going around to Anna. Anna, what annoys you about news reporting?
Same old. I agree with Rebecca and with other classmates as to the constantly news about new cases about politicians because it's embarrassing to see how is the country how much restriction people are suffering for these cases. Another news is about Greece because they are confusing, and I don't know what would happen is in Greece have decided to go out the European zone. I don't know what will happen. That's all.
Great, excellent. Yes, so we do hear some of the same annoyances. The reporting on politicians definitely gets annoying. Great, and I'm interested too. What will happen with Greece?
Okay.
Great, thank you, Anna. Erika, your turn. What annoys you about news reporting?
Well, about this question, I think I can see two different types of answers. And the first one is what of news I hate the most. For example, I see that in Brazil we have a lot of news about bad informations about, for example, violence or murders or robbery. And there are specific programs here, and they are very famous. People watch a lot, and they are about the violence in, for example, explosions in banks or people which were murdered by robbers and news like that makes me feel in a negative way. That makes me think in a negative way, actually. And there's many people here that watch this kind of programs, and they say that it's important to know that these bad things happen in the country. But I think that watching this every day makes us feel bad and feel less positive about our own lives. And the other side, the other type of answer should be as people said here, that about the political situation in the country. That with the I agree that this kind of news are important, but it's important also to know what happens in our country. And that's it.
Great, excellent. So it can be negative, but it's important to hear what's really going on. So great. All right, nice work, everyone, with our first question. So let's see what our next question is. Okay, I think we might have, I think I want to skip this one just because I think we'll get a lot of very similar answers, and many of you mentioned what you don't like to see. So let's go on to this question. So speculative, you might be talking about the future here. Do you think there will still be newspapers in 5 years? Future tense. And Rebecca started us last time, so Natasha, your turn to go first.
Wow, it's really controversial question because many people can say that our technique are very I mean that the technique level increase very fast. So maybe in the future it's a big percent of this possibility that in our I mean in the nearest future we will the opportunity to obtain and read brought that had news not not by newspapers, but maybe using for it more internet and other gadgets. But on the other hand, I really don't think that it will be true. I suppose that newspaper will be in 5 years, in 10 years, and go on, because it's like different and very important kind of our I don't know how to say, not our life, but maybe it's a really important source for obtaining news about from all world. So a lot of people who really like gain news only through by reading newspapers or watching TV. So I really feel and I really think that a newspaper will live not only in our nearest future, but in the future at all. In our future at all, because it's really very important, and people have the opportunity to choose different kind of newspapers, and it not only newspaper which have give us news about our world, but it can be something news like like a tabloid, where people can read gifts about famous people, and many people like it too.
Good, great, and good. That's 2 minutes, so great, nice answer. I think you made some strong arguments for why they will still be here.
Thank you.
Great, great, thank you very much. Wellington, what do you think? Will they still be around in 5 years?
It's a good question. I think in the future there will be some, of course, some companies, but I think less than now, lower than now, because we know many newspapers and magazines too. The circulation is decreasing every day, and the internet is in other way, in opposite direction, because it's cheaper. The access is easier than and cheaper than buy a newspaper. I didn't deny the importance of the newspapers, but I think the internet is better because we can search information from different places. We can searching information from different places. And I think we can find in some way, we know that some newspapers are rule for companies that have different interests from the public, like the channels. Here in Brazil, we have 2, 3, 4 newspapers. They control big companies that also have magazines, and very many times they control the information. And the internet broke their companies. I think this is good for the public, for the people, because we can find different. We can search. We can, of course, we must to worry about the information that are in the internet. That is in the internet. So I prefer the internet than the newspapers.
Good, great. So it is a positive thing that we have more sources of news, more places to read news. So there will probably be newspapers, but many more sources on the internet, of course.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Nice. Well said. Olga, what do you think? Will there still be newspapers in 5 years?
It's difficult to answer definitely to this question because a lot of people all over the world are used to reading their morning newspapers and drinking coffee every day, and at the same time we have an alternative resource of information such as the internet, but at the same time newspapers and advertising in newspapers, it's a part of a big business, and people earn money on such things. So it's a very controversial question. It is similar to a question whether books live in 10 years, for example. I think that a lot of people will continue reading newspapers, and this kind of information will live.
Great, excellent. So there are a lot of people still reading their newspaper every morning, probably still around next 5 years. Great, thank you, Olga. Anna, how about you? What do you think?
I don't know if the newspaper they will still in 5 years, but in my opinion, although newspapers are a massive visual means of communication, they have a short life because if you want to be informed, you need to buy the newspaper every day. So, in my opinion, is expensive. Nowadays, people tend to hear in the news on the radio, which is recovering its popularity, or on the internet, where you can read any news without paying for it. Is comfortable. You have a lot of means of communication, so I think newspaper are losing popularity. That's all.
Great, well said. Yeah, so they may not be around in 5 years. Great, and yeah, I think you made an important point about the return of radio. There are more people listening to radio now with internet radio. Yeah, great. Thank you. Great answer. So, Erica, how about you? What do you think about newspapers 5 years from now?
Well, I think that in 5 years is a very short time. 5 years pass too fast, and probably newspapers are not going to end the paper. Would not end in 5 years, but maybe in more years, 40 years, 50 years, because there are still many people that are used to read the news or on the paper, and those people are the people who born in that are today with around 40, 50, 60 years, and they have not born with technology, for example, with tablets or smartphones. So for these people that are more used to read on papers, it will still be very popular. but but with the time, I think that with new technologies, it will be easier to read magazines and even newspapers, even news or books online on a virtual way, using tablets or the cell phone. And we see that it's getting more popular to, for example, even to buy a book on the internet, ebook, and it's very easy because you buy and you can have the book at that time that you buy, and you can do that online. You do not need to go to a store and buy it. So I think that in 5 years it's not going to end.
Great, excellent. Good points. I think 5 years is a very short time. Great, so great arguments. All right, last but not least, Rebecca, do you think there will be newspapers 5 years from now?
Okay, well, I think in my opinion, well, it's a fact that internet has changed everything, you know. It's changed our private life, and it changed our professional life. So, of course, newspapers don't how to express don't get away from this powerful thing. I'm not sure. I don't know exactly when newspapers could disappear, but I think over the years they will, you know, because it's like a human being move on. Imagine if we are still doing things that our ancients centuries ago did, you know. That would mean that we know we didn't move on. So of course, as other professionals, professionals, I don't know the word, had to change. Newspapers had to change the way they are doing that now, or they will disappear, because it's improve our society. It's going ahead, you know. Yeah. So. Well, that is my point. I don't know if I can explain myself, but that's my idea.
Yeah, it sounds, what I understood is that the newspapers will have to change.
They want to survive, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's life. It's historical human, you know, being life.
Yeah, we're always changing. Everything's evolving. Great. So well said. Very nice.
Thank you.
Great opinions, everyone, and great supporting arguments. Let's look at the next one. This will be interesting. What's the biggest story in the news at the moment? So this will probably be different depending where in the world you are. Oof, I can't answer this question. I'm out of touch with the news right now. But luckily, it's Wellington's turn to answer first. So, Wellington, what's the biggest story in Brazil right now?
In Brazil is the scandal involving Petrobras and the politicians. Unfortunately, a lot of we have a history from problems with corruption. And this time, months ago, was discovered a series of problems with this, bribe, bribes were paid to politicians and different peoples. Big companies here in Brazil that build that these companies building the structures to the to for that company, and they pay bribes, and so a lot of money was spent, and because geez, of course, this money that was paid sometimes is because the price of that structure was overcharged, and this is the big news here. Um, with this, the people lost money that could be put in health, education, and other things.
Good, good, nice, great. So exactly 2 minutes there. Very well said. Sounds like corrupt politicians are leading the headlines. Um, I haven't heard about that scandal, but again, I'm out of touch. So thanks for informing me. Great, thank you very much. Olga, how about you? What's the big news story in Ukraine?
First of all, of course, it's news about the situation in the in this part of my country. I mean the war. The next point is economical problems, problems with high currency rates. What else? People are afraid of default, and they are very worried about that. If to speak about the world news, I think that the most famous news is about Greece and their crisis and the reaction of European Union to this problem. As I told you, I don't watch news too much, and that's why I can't describe in detail all nuances of this topic. I try to avoid any negative information because it's too difficult to live when you see all this flood of negative information. I don't want to be depressed because of it.
Great, I understand. I completely understand the sentiment. Great, yeah, so those are some of the big stories I've heard of too, especially Greece. Great, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anna, yeah, great. Anna, how about you? What's the biggest story over in Spain?
Well, I'm going to talk about soccer because in Spain, football news try to distract people on the political corruption. So the most important news at the moment is that Messi and Ronaldo are the greatest soccer player in history, 30 till now. They are beginning to look like the two best players in the story of the sport, broken the single season scoring record in Spain 3 different times. That's all.
Wow, great. Yeah, I had heard a little bit about the corruption with wasn't there something with the head of FIFA? But yeah, I don't follow football very well, so I suppose it's very popular in Spain, though.
Yes, yes. as I was saying, football news try to distract people about the political corruption, and they try that we forget all problems with the news of football.
Yeah, distracting the people from the real problems with some more superficial news.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Great. Yeah, Wellington mentioned that earlier too. That's, I think, a common practice of the news, unfortunately.
Yes.
Great, nice answer. Erica, how about you? What's the biggest story?
Well, in Brazil, as Wellington said, apart from the problem of corruption at Petrobras, we are facing here a very bad economical situation, and we see on the news every day statistics about the unemployment, the percentage of people which are unemployed, or the situation of companies that have to dismiss some people, and even companies that are closing their doors. And we see the economical problem is reaching all parts of the economy, in public organs or even in private. I work in a public company, and I see that the same problem at Petrobras also happens we know that happens in other of public companies as well, and the economic situation worsens that. And the other news that yesterday actually we were talking a lot was about that soccer defeat against the Germans in the last soccer World Cup, which was 7-1, and that's the other news that we were seeing on the television.
Good, and the time is up. Great. So yeah, some of the same stories. Of course, you're in Brazil just like Wellington, so same big stories. Nice, and good point. I think economic situation does have a big impact on some of that corruption and things. Great, and that's big news in a lot of countries right now. All right, so Rebecca, your turn. What's the biggest story in your?
Well, I'm going to avoid talking about politicians and politics, because that is the biggest right now, talking about our nation. But I'm going to say something funnier, and I'm going to say a gossip from Glossy magazine, from celebrities. I think everyone knows Vargas Llosa, the writer who won Nobel Prize in literature. And
what's it?
He's on those glossy magazines because he his wife, and he's dating with a very famous woman in Spain. She is called Isabel Presley, who was married with Julio Iglesias. That is a famous singer as well. And after that, she was married with a duke, famous in Spain. And then she was married with a famous politic in Spain who just passed away months ago, and now she's dating with this famous writer. So everyone who wants to speak about gossips, are talking about her.
Great, excellent. So that's an update for all our celebrity news.
Yeah.
Great, excellent.
That's very, it's updating Spain right now, yes.
Good, and I didn't know any of that, so I learned a few things.
Because you don't live in Spain, but I'm living now in the UK, and I saw the news here in English newspaper. Imagine.
So it's pretty big news then.
Yeah. He's so famous around the world. He's famous in Spain, but he is very famous. He's a winner of one Nobel Prize. So.
What's his name again?
Vargas Llosa.
Vargas Llosa. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I have heard of him. I don't think I've read any of his works, but interesting. Maybe I will now.
Well, yeah, now because you know now the name. Yeah.
All right, great. Great answer. Thank you for sharing. One more for this question. Natasha, what's the biggest story in the news at the moment?
Okay, I don't know. Maybe it isn't the biggest story in the news at the moment, but I have heard today about problems with our agriculture, with climate. Weather, and about Eurasian single Eurasian Economic Union. And I think that the last news is the biggest nowadays because economical situation is the most important step for improving life of all inhabitants in every country, and in Belarus the same. I know that my country would like to create a single economic space by 2025. But nowadays, sadly, our government are not very satisfied this process because they wanted that this process was more dynamically. Okay. I mean that I had read unfortunately, we can see a decline in trade turnover of Belarus with the main partners in the Eurasian Economic Union, such as Russia and Kazakhstan. And I had heard that Russia is the most important partner for Belarus nowadays. So our government very sadly about this situation, and they thought how it can be more dynamic and more useful for our country.
Great, excellent. Thank you very much. Good. So that was all new to me. Of course, I haven't been following the news, but even if I were here in the States, I don't think I would hear any of that news. So interesting. A lot going on there that I don't understand. Great, thank you. It sounds difficult. Stressful. All right, so that was everyone for that question. We have a little bit of time left. I don't know if we can... we certainly don't have time for 2-minute answers, but let's do a rapid squeeze, 1 minute rapid fire question. And this is the question: how do you get your news? And so Olga's turn to start. Just 1 minute this time. Ready, set, Go.
Okay, thank you. I usually get my news on the internet. Sometimes I listen to, not listen, sometimes I watch TV. Sometimes I communicate with people from different countries and get some news from them. But the biggest source of information for me is, of course, the internet and some acquaintances who can tell me about the urgent news about something which is very urgent for today. And I don't have a big choice of the sources for getting news. So I can't tell a lot about it.
Great, great. Good answer. Sounds about right. And exactly 1 minute. Nice, Olga. Thank you. Anna, where do you get your news?
I normally get my news on the internet or sometimes on TV. Because the radio only hear it when I drive, when I'm going to drive, I don't know, to the city center, for example. That's all.
All right, great answer. So radio when you're driving, especially.
Yes.
Great, nice. Good, thank you. Erica, how do you get your news?
Actually, I'm very lazy in get active information, and so I like to have my news on the radio, and I receive emails, automatic emails about the news. For example, of some specific kinds of websites.
Very nice. That's a good way to make sure you're staying informed if they're sending it to you every day. Nice, great. All right, Rebecca, how about you? How do you get your news?
Well, news from my country. As I said, I'm living currently now in the UK, so of course on the internet. I read at least three newspapers every day. To get the news from there. But here in the UK, I listen to the radio because it's a way to get the better English as well, But I use, I listen to the radio and I watch sometimes, but not frequently, I watch news on the TV.
Great, great. Yeah, the TV is still a good way to get news. Excellent.
Yeah, but if I can avoid it, I do because I don't like to watch news at the TV. It depends on which the channel. You can listen to news, different news, So it's no.
Yeah.
Well, every media is the same, but well.
Yeah. Each channel might have different stories or a different style.
No, the same story, but with a different opinion.
Yeah. And we might say with news, we might say a different spin.
I don't know in your country, but in my country, it depends on the channel you pick to watch the news. They are talking about. Everything is related to politics, so is that.
Yeah, certainly. We do have that here in the U.S. too, certainly.
I guess it's the same.
Okay. Unfortunately, it's the same many places.
Unfortunately, you will see.
Yeah, great. How about you, Natasha? How do you get your news?
I prefer to read the main news by using for that internet source. But also I like to watch TV, especially chat shows where independent experts sit and discuss about this question, about these issues.
Right, nice, excellent, well said. succinct.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
great. Thank you. And last but not least, Wellington, how do you get your news?
Yeah, the majority through the internet, sometimes through the TV, but I think the internet is the better way to find news, to search, to read the different points of view. So I think for us it's good because um, years ago we had only few sources, and this way maybe our vision, what was brought to us, maybe could be not the right point.
Yeah, great. All right. Good. Yeah, so it's good to
The
get.
better point, yeah.
Yeah, that's one nice thing about the internet is that if we're getting a bad source, we can find a different source. Great. So, all right, nice. With that, we are out of time for today. Nice work, everyone. You're all very well spoken. So keep that up. And if you enjoyed this class, it's an ongoing class with a different topic every time. So please join us again next time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
you.
All right. Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
Stephanie.
See you next time. Bye.